Okay, everybody, I hope the camera is on. I'm going to turn it around, and hopefully it will be pointed at me. Let's see if we can do this. All right, so I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. In fact, we've got framed versions of the covers right here. I probably have not shown these on the channel yet. But anyway, what we're going to be doing here, folks, is talking about a subject that I've been putting off forever. However, a lot of you have been asking me this. You know, I mention a lot that I used to be a painter. I used to do illustrations for Dungeons and Dragons. I used to do illustrations for Magic the Gathering. I used to do gallery artwork, Western landscapes, and I would sell them out of the prestigious galleries in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Scottsdale, Arizona, and you know, everywhere else that fine art was sold. And I did pretty well. I sold every painting I ever painted. I kept 5, and I'm going to show you those 5. But I stopped painting about 6, 7, 8 years ago. And there's a reason, and I wanted to bring this reason up now because it's a medical issue, actually, and we'll get into that as I talk. But let's just start by showing you the paintings first, and then we'll get into why I stopped painting and why the medical issues might even stop me from writing, and maybe even in the future I won't even be able to read. So let's get into the paintings first. So let's go over here. These are 3 paintings that I've kept. This is one of my favorite wildlife paintings I did. This is a piece I did for Dungeons and Dragons, and that's a piece I did for Topps Trading Cards. And so I'll give you a close look at these here. Hopefully the light doesn't glare off of them. That's a painting of a doll sheep and a waterfall. Clearly you can tell that's what it is. Over here we've got this archer. Oh, the light is glaring off of it, so let's see if we can't fix that. This is a picture of an archer that I did for Dungeons and Dragons. They did a series about archers, and I did a couple paintings for them. I always liked it. It was one of my favorite paintings that I'd ever done. I liked the water. Much like the one reason I kept that one over there is because I liked the waterfall too. I always thought I captured water very well. Clouds, on the other thing, any painting I ever did with clouds was a cluster. Okay, now this is one of the pieces I did for the NFL, and I kept it because it was a Raiders guy. It was the only Raiders painting that I did. I did this back in about 1998 when I was in college, and that is Ricky Dudley, the old tight end for the Raiders. I did this one in about 1996 when I was in college. I did this one when I was I don't know, that was about 2001 I did that one. And then I will show you the Boba Fett painting I did for Lucasfilm. I did a series of posters. I did R2-D2, Chewbacca, one of the Sand People, and then I did Boba Fett. That's the Boba Fett piece, one of my favorites. That's why I kept it, because he's one of my favorite characters. And I just thought it was a dope painting. Look, someone shot a blaster at him, and it blasted the wall, and you can see the smoke. And then we got the Boba Fett helmet. Now let's walk upstairs, because I've got some more paintings. I've got a lot of my favorite artists on the wall here. I've got one other wildlife painting up here that I did. I put it right here at the top of the stairs so you could see it. This is clearly a cougar and some aspen trees. This one's for sale, by the way, if anybody has $10,000 they want to drop on it. By the way, that's about what my artwork, that's about the price of my artwork when I was selling it in the galleries. I would sell them between 7,000 and 10,000. They're big paintings. So let's talk about why I stopped painting. And, well, let's show me, this is my book review. This is my studio, my library of 5,000 books. We will be reviewing each book on the channel. Let's see if I can get this set up. Anyway, I don't know if it's going to behave itself for me. We'll do like that. So, hope you can see me. So let's talk about it. I'm out of breath. I didn't realize that's part of the problem here. About 6-7 years ago, I noticed a problem with my vision in my left eye. I went to the eye doctor. I was given the diagnosis of I had suffered a stroke in my eye. It's called retinal vein occlusion. Google it. Retinal vein occlusion. It's horrific. You don't want it. It's irreversible. There's no cure for it. What it is the stroke happens in the eye, the blood vessels burst, and they fill the blood with eye, and they warp the back of the retina, and it just causes blindness. And it's a slow blindness. Happens over time. When I was painting, I noticed that it was getting harder and harder for me to paint and to see the paintings. I was having to back up a little bit, you know? Like I always wore glasses, like I can see far away with the glasses on. When I read a book, I have to take the glasses off and put the book up here to see it. There's a gap in my vision. If I have my glasses off, I can see to about right here, but I cannot see anything beyond that. If I put my glasses on, I can't see much of anything from here to about 5 feet away, but then everything is pretty clear out there, or so it used to be. We'll get to that. So when I was painting, my paintings were always falling in this, what I was painting, you know, it's in this area where I can't see, and my eyes were straining and straining. It was becoming harder to paint, harder to see what I was doing, less enjoyable, actually starting to strain my eyes and become painful. So I just slowly stopped painting, and at the same time I was getting into writing a lot, so I just sort of let the painting fade away and let the writing take over, which I think was kind of a blessing in disguise, because if I was still painting, I don't know if I would have ever written these 2 books. Such as it is, I don't want to lose my eyesight. Here's the thing. When you get retinal vein occlusion in one eye, it makes you blind in this eye, but I still had 20/20 vision in this eye, for the most part, other than I had to wear glasses to get to 20/20. So here's the problem. Here's what's happened. Here's the crux of the video. If you've been following me on social media, you know that over the weekend I had a very bad health scare, which started at the optometrist, the eye doctor, because I went to the eye doctor because I started noticing the same thing happening in this eye that had happened in this eye 6 years ago. Retinal vein occlusion, if you Google it, there's only a 16% chance, only 16% of the people that get the disease in this eye get it in the second eye. I happen to fall in that unlucky 16%, because when I was at the eye doctor, they diagnosed that I'd had a stroke in this eye, and the blood was going to start filling the eye and warping my vision and cause me to go blind. And so I now need to go in for some surgery to help stop that. I'll have to take medications. I've been taking medications in this eye, and when I say medications, it's actually a needle that goes into the eye, and the medication gets squirted into the eye. It's painful, and it's freaky, and it's monthly, and I hate it. I'm now going to have that same thing done here after the surgery, and but there's no cure for it. Surgery and medication only slows the process. So, over time, it is inevitable I will lose my sight in this eye now. I've already lost it in this eye, which means I don't know how well, like, I don't know what to, I mean, there's just, that's the thing. That's why I stopped painting, is because of the pain and the strain. I've noticed it's hard to look at a computer. It's getting harder for me to open a book and read it. I've been collecting, I got 5,000 books in this library. I want to leave a review of every single one of them on the channel. Years ago, I started slowly buying and purchasing all of my books that I've got physical copies for. I started purchasing them on audible.com. I've got about 1,000 of them on Audible now, but it was sort of a premonition I had that I might be one of the unlucky 16% that catches this disease in both eyes, which has happened. If you followed my social media, you saw me post about this on my social media, my Instagram and Facebook. What happened to the eye doctor was they're like, why is this happening? Why are you having these strokes in your eyes? They've done all the blood work. I'm not high cholesterol, but then they took my blood pressure. And I've never really had high blood pressure, but they took it this time. And it was 210 over 130, which is apparently, I'm a walking stroke. Like, people just don't walk around alive with that kind of blood pressure. They usually drop dead on the spot. So they rushed me to the ICU, where I spent a couple days in the hospital, where they stabilized my blood pressure. They did all the blood tests, they did all the tests, they did all the x-rays. Everything, I am in perfect health, except for I have these weird spikes in blood pressure that last, they're thinking they're lasting several months. That's probably what caused the first damage 6 or 7 years ago. Now it's caused this damage, and they're just, so that's that. This is a video that I've been putting off for a long time. I know a lot of you have been asking me, why, Durfee, you're such an awesome painter. Why on earth did you give up that talent? I mean, it's a hard subject for me to talk about, so I just hesitated to even make this video. So I'm going to stop now, because I do want to keep reading all of these books and leaving reviews. I just don't know if it's going to keep happening, but I'm going to go until it's absolutely impossible. So thank you, everybody, and I'm going to stop.